Hello and welcome to episode 50 of AFC Filed Still We Rise. We've made it to the big 5-0. I'm not sure when we started this that anybody would have given us a chance of achieving that. Today's episode is a celebration here on Football Manager 2020 because it is AFC Filed's last game this season in Sky Bet League 2. I will have to eat my words if we get relegated next year. We played Cheltenham away at the Johnny Rock Stadium, still one of my favourite names, along with Gander Green Lane for a football stadium. Since you were last here, we have played 3 games, since we lost, of course, 2-1 to Carlisle. That confirmed our promotion. We then followed that up to earn the title. It was against Bradford. We won 2-0 against the Bantams, thanks to a second-half goal from Jamie Proctor that Jovan Malcolm added to late on back at Mill Farm. To much celebration, that confirmed us as champions of Sky Bet League 2. We followed up with a win away at Stevenage. This was quite a poor game for us, actually. Sheldon Green with the only goal in the first half, but as you can see, Jack Muldoon missed a penalty. We also had Andy Taylor taken off injured. Against AFC Wimbledon, we won 2-1, goals by Serhat Tazdemir and James Cragen in a 3-minute second half spell that rendered George Williams' goal for the Dons little more than a consolation. But as you can imagine, we were hanging on just at the end. That leaves us with Cheltenham. That is our last game of the season, and for episode 50 we wanted to do something special. And that was to bring the last game of our promotion season, the second season that we've been promoted in quick succession. In terms of the table, that's left us obviously in a great position because we are 11 points clear of Bolton in second. Bolton have really had a bit of a resurgence as of late. They went through a bit of a bad patch, did Wanderers, and that sort of left their playoff ambitions a little bit in tatters. If you see this spell here, especially December and January, they really struggled to pick up wins, just 2 out of a possible 11. They then rallied in February and March into April. They've only just lost to Northampton in the last game, but prior to that, look at all that green, the draws as well, an unbeaten run which has seen them earn promotion back to Sky Bet League 1. So they spent last season, the first season of the Still We Rise game, in Sky Bet League 2 with their points deduction. They've then kicked on and got the promotion. The playoff picture is still pretty much open. Northampton and Crawley are going to contest at the final automatic promotion spot. All season long I predicted Bolton and Bradford to be right up there as promotion favourites. Bradford have fallen off badly. They've won and drawn in their last 2, but prior to that, they really struggled. Just look what happened in March and April. All those losses, that's what really sort of killed their ambition for getting that automatic promotion spot. In contrast, Salford City have had something of a surge up the table. They were out of the playoff picture, mid-table, rendered hopeless in terms of getting promoted. But as you can see, last 3 months, even into February, it's all been wins. Just a few losses in there, but they're getting wins. They're not picking up draws, apart from that one there against Grimsby. They're getting the 3 points on the board. They end the season against Exeter. Now, Exeter are managed now by Kenny McKenna, my former assistant, and he's about to see them go down. They've got to win and hope Oldham don't pick up a point in their game. That will help Salford. I think Salford are nailed on for promotion. I'll be surprised if they don't get 5th. That leaves Grimsby and Bradford for the final promotion spot. Southend are probably out of it now. They've got to win. Bradford have got to lose, and there's going to be a swing of 6 goals there. I don't see that happening. So it's going to be one of Northampton and Crawley, Walsall, Salford, and then either Bradford or Grimsby in the playoffs. Macclesfield are down. They have said goodbye to league football. They will contest the National League next season. Of course, where we came from. Same with Barnet. Barnet are actually 14th. After they were appalling in the opening weeks of the season, they were rock bottom. But they have retaliated and they are back into mid-table. This is exactly what Salford did in real life. You consolidate for the first season, second season in League Two, you push for promotion. That's certainly what class of 92 and everybody there will be hoping at the Peninsula Stadium for the coming season. We've also made some changes in terms of our staff. We had to improve it really, ready for League One. So we converted David Platt's contract. That has gone to a full-time professional deal. Previously he was on non-contract terms, so we weren't actually paying him. He was doing it for the love of the game, and I commend him more than anything. We have got rid of Colin Woodthorpe, which won't prove to be a popular decision. Colin being something of a club legend, he was there for 8 years as assistant to Dave Challoner, but his stats weren't brilliant. And instead, I actually put out an advert just wanting one coach because we had the news that our staff had been upped and I could recruit another coach. So I put one out there. Ronnie Jepson replied to the advert. I think he's got pretty good stats and I wanted somebody who could work with the youngsters in our first team squad, the likes of Sheldon Green, who are coming through from the academy. Big determination, big discipline. I like Ronnie Jepson being on the staff. He's very experienced, I should say actually. I was going to show you his career in recent seasons. He's basically followed Neil Warnock around. So he's worked with Warnock at Cardiff, Rotherham, Palace, Leeds, QPR, and back at Palace after that? Yeah, sorry, before that in terms of the timeline. As a player, he played pretty much around the Northwest. Preston, Huddersfield in Yorkshire, Bury, Oldham, Burnley. So he certainly stayed in the north. He strikes me as somebody I would get on quite well with. The other staff member I've brought in is James Beattie. So I think he's got quite good stats, especially for a coach that is willing to come to a Sky Bet League 2 club as we are. So he signed a 2-year deal, good attacking coaching stats. Again, working with youngsters isn't bad at 14, and then you've got the determination, motivation, and level of discipline. His playing career, so he's a 5-time international with England. His playing career, Southampton, Everton and Sheffield United, he really made his mark. Appeared also for Stoke, Blackburn right at the start of his career, and even spent some time in Scotland with Rangers. Since 2012 he's been on the coaching staff. That was with Accrington, where he was made assistant and then manager. He was a coach at Swansea, Leeds, Middlesbrough, Birmingham, and recently Sheffield Wednesday, where the game still thinks he is, interestingly, but he's definitely not. He's with us. As you can see, he's on our staff list. The other thing that I'm going to change while we're here is Dan Spence's name. He's been doing my head in because I've been calling him everything except Dan for some reason. I'm going to give him the nickname Spenny the Penny. I'm going to put money there for some reason. I think he's the type that would encourage me, despite being on quite a low wage himself, to spend a bit of cash on our playing squad. We've also brought in a head physio, Natasha Doyle. So you may remember from a few episodes ago I went through the female staff shortlists that are out there, that are available to download. Natasha has come in. She was with Swindon prior to us, so she is our new head physio. Delighted to have her on board. There is just a couple of members of staff that we will replace in the off-season. So our sports scientist, chief data analyst, head of sports science, we'll have a look at that, including some for the under-20s, under-23 and under-18 squad. So those are just areas that I think we can probably improve, because the last time we did a big sweep and brought in a lot of staff was when we were a National League club. We're going to be a League One side. Which is going to bring a lot of changes to the playing staff and also the coaching as well. It's got to be up to standard or we're just not going to have a chance. In terms of the team for this game, I actually do want to make some changes here. So a lot of players are going to say goodbye, and as such I think it's only right that we give them some appearances. Chris Porter, Serhat Tasmir is injured at the moment, so I'm going to bring Chris Porter actually into the team. Aaron Leonard can sit this one out. I'm going to bring in Matty Kozolo and Javan Malcolm. Although I may switch those two. Yeah, they're more suited there. In central midfield, I think we'll give Dan Bradley a final start. Leave Nick Horton out completely. Ryan Croasdale will get the shirt. And in defence, I think we'll play Neil Byrne over Jan Songo. Give Songo a bit of a break. He's played quite a lot of games for us. Other than that, Tyrone Williams in for Luke Burke. That's the only other change. The rest I'm fairly happy with. Off the bench, I hope to give Muldoon and Phyllis Kirk a run out. Possibly Carl Jameson. There are a few players, as you can see, wanted for transfer. Dan Lavercombe wanted by Sheffield Wednesday. They've clearly seen something that I've not. Ryan Croasdale by Lincoln. Tom Walker by Doncaster. That's not happening. Not a chance. And Carl Jameson by Ebbsfleet. Jordan Williams is rotting in our reserves at the minute. He has been out with cry-ups for most of the season. He's been a bit of a whinge, and I'm sick of dealing with him. So he is going to stay in our under-23 development side, and he is going to depart at the first opportunity. In terms of the fixtures, interesting this, as mentioned before, Salford play Exeter. Southend, who are in 9th, host Bradford City. I'm backing Southend to get the job done there, and Bradford will be left hoping that Grimsby don't beat Newport. Whether that comes off is a different story. Down at the foot of the table as well, Oldham. They're the team that Exeter need to catch. They're away at Plymouth. Interesting one, that. Up at the top of the league, Crawley and Northampton are contesting that final automatic promotion spot. Both are at home. Northampton have Carlisle, Crawley have Swindon. In terms of our preview, there's just a couple of injury concerns. James Montgomery is on our bench, but is only on the way to recovery. Serhat Tasmir is out with a twisted ankle. That's going to end his season. And then Connor Thomas, doubtful with hip injury for Cheltenham. Let's get underway. Cheltenham will play a 3-5-2-ish. It's more like a 3-4-3 because they have number 10 an attacking midfielder supporting 2 strikers. So it'll be interesting to see whether we can get our width in play and really affect the game out wide. I should say that this has been recorded quite late on Sunday. And so far this weekend, I've seen the Charity Shield take place. Now, I consider that to be a trophy. It looks like a trophy, smells like a trophy. It is a trophy. You have to earn your way to get there. Check. There's a podium on the pitch. Check. You receive a medal. Check. Big celebration, raising a trophy over your head. It's a trophy. I think if you ask a player, they will say it is a trophy that they want to win. Nobody wants to lose these things. If you ask a journalist, they will say glorified friendly. Personally, I think it depends whether you win it or not. If you're a Liverpool fan today, you'd probably say, it doesn't really mean anything. If you're an Arsenal fan, it's the first trophy of the season. As Lloyd goes forward and gets his strike blocked. But he gets a cross off into the waiting hands of Dan Lavercombe. The other thing that I watched this morning, obviously, is the A-League Grand Final, which went into extra time. Sydney FC overcoming Melbourne City. Of course, have the link with Manchester City, same ownership group, the City Football Group. Sydney FC becoming record-setting 5-time champions in Australia. As Javan Malcolm opens the scoring for AFC FYLDE. Assist by Matty Kozolo from the left. Big cross in. It came actually, this looks a little bit like the Arsenal goal, I have to say. A lot of passing out the back. and getting forward, and it's a header by Jovan Malcolm beating a former Fylde goalkeeper in Jay Lynch. I think Cheltenham are actually quite strong in defence, not only with Lynch but Tozer, who I think is their captain. He is a pretty good player. He'll probably just score now just to punctuate that as it goes out to Lloyd. It's blocked and away comes Kozlow. Overruns it slightly but keeps the ball running. Walker, who has been crucial for us, he's been an absolute superstar. He's going to come in from Duxbury, the cross, and it is over. I think that was Chris Porter with the effort. So a really good opening, actually, to this game. It was a good opening in the League Grand Final, I should say as well. Melbourne City playing really well, but eventually were pegged back. Ryan Grant, experienced fullback, Socceroo, international player. He chested the ball in from a bit of an angle after good work by Trent Bahaja on the left and Luke Bratton with a really good cross to the back post that took out most of the Melbourne defence. So it's been a pretty good weekend of football. The ball comes in there. Bradders, Duxbury with a big strike. He scores some spectacular goals this season. Not to be on that occasion. The other thing that is kicking in at the moment, as an assistant researcher for AFC FYLDE for Sports Interactive and Football Manager, there are so many transfers taking place, especially at FYLDE. They're in quite a unique position at the Coasters because they're going down, but they have better players than the league position suggests. So the likes of Jordan Williams, he's signed for Stockport in real life. Stockport will be there for promotion next season. I'm convinced that they'll be at least in the playoffs. I'm probably going to cop a bit of heat for that because Stockport are quite big rivals of FYLDE, but they've done things the right way. Jim Gannon, I'm a big fan of. I met him when he was at Mill Farm. He was a gentleman and talked really highly about AFC FYLDE actually. Which, you know, doesn't get, those little things don't get reported. And actually, he was talking about the investment. He was talking about how he was hoping that things would come good at Stockport, and of course they have. They've got new investment. They've got new owners, and there's some real promise there. They've signed a couple of former FYLDE players. I believe Alex Reid is there as well, and they've obviously got Ben Hinchcliffe in goal, who's one of the best keepers in the National League. So really interested to see how they do this season. But with Jordan Williams leaving, Tom Walker signed for Harrogate, following in the footsteps of Jack Muldoon. So Harrogate are in the Football League. So that just goes to show you how good these players are. Is that they're getting up there. You know, they're not National League North players. They're good enough for, the top of the National League and getting into the Football League. If you've got somebody like Tom Walker who's getting that big move, Ryan Croasdale is supposedly on his way to Barrow. Another side who got promotion to the EFL. FYLDE are in quite a unique situation this summer because there's different groups of players at the club. You've got the players that are too good and who are going to get sold for money, like Jordan Williams, like Tom Walker. But you've also got players there that the manager doesn't want. Take Scott Duxbury, for example. On this game, fantastic for me. He's first choice left back. I wouldn't change that. Certainly going into League One, I wouldn't be looking to change that. In real life, as soon as Jim Bentley arrived, he was shipped out on loan to Chorley, and chances are he'll have his contract mutually terminated, or at least allowed to leave in the next few weeks. The same happened with Matty Kozlow, so he's part of that group that just Jim doesn't seem to fancy at FYLDE. And again, just the other thing is obviously one of which Jim Bentley all the best with his health concerns. He seems to be back working, but obviously does have to go through a bit of a procedure in the near future. So yeah, all the best, big man, on that one. There's the other group of players, sort of a third group, are the ones that are going to stay, the loyalists. So people like Nick Horton. I'd also put people like Sheldon Green, Academy graduate, into that one as well. Neil Byrne. These are the guys that were there for the National League for the last couple of years, but will be part of the spearhead to get back from National League North. it does worry me the amount of turnover. But Fylde seem to be doing it the right way. They've brought in good players. So Neil in goal, he seems to be very experienced. Tollett, I believe, is the attacking midfielder and the winger. Aaron Pond has got multiple promotions to his name. So it's all looking fairly positive, but as a researcher for Football Manager Sports Interactive, it does mean quite a lot of communication just to explain all the changes that are happening, and that includes the staff, of course. One of the things that Chairman David Haythornthwaite has been talking about was how he wanted to freshen up the backroom staff, and he's brought in Nick Chadwick from Wigan as the new assistant manager. There's a new physio, a new sort of, I don't know how you describe him, fitness coach, probably, Jake Simpson, having moved on. So, a lot of upheaval, and that means a lot of changes to the submission for the data, ready for Football Manager 21, which potentially will be postponed, but you just carry on working through it and carry on getting the data as good as it can be. One of the challenges that has happened over the last day or so is being the contract offered to James Stanley as one of the academy graduates, following the footsteps of Sheldon Green, up into the first team squad. He's only played, I think, I've only seen him in one game that I'm aware of, which was Dorking away in the FA Trophy this season. Early in February, he came on as a substitute, but he came off with Dan Bradley. I think he's actually a full-back, more of a wing-back, in fact. So he's somebody, because Fylde do have a bit of a gap at left-back. Depends on how Jim play this season, because Jim wants to play this season. It'll be interesting because he's got Pond, Byrne and Whitmore, who are all pretty good centre-halves. So whether he goes three at the back and pushes Luke Burke forward, Luke Burke's a really good attacking right-back and has signed a new contract. So he's somebody that possibly Fylde could rely on out there. Is James Stanley the player for the left? Possibly. I suspect, though, he'll be more of a substitute and a senior player will be brought in. But, of course, he has the opportunity to get there. And as football fans, I think one of the things we do really like to see is an academy graduate get into the first team and really represent the club. They've been there for so long, they've been brought through. And eventually, certainly with clubs lower down the pyramid, is to get a big move and see them at a bigger club. If it's a local side like Blackpool, Fleetwood, Morecambe, all the better, because it just shows their sort of affinity for the local area. And there we have it, the end of the season, and I can already see that Bradford has slipped out of the playoffs. Bradford, who I predicted at the start of the season were going to earn promotion alongside Bolton. I didn't predict ourselves, I hasten to add. I actually predicted Bradford and Bolton. I only predicted two that were going to go up. And they were the two. And it seems that Bradford have missed out. So end of season results, they've missed out by a point. Oh, that is gutting, isn't it? So Northampton actually grabbed second place. So Northampton must have picked up a big win. There they are. Oh, 1-0 against Carlisle. That's gone well for them. Bolton held to a draw by Barnet, who came up with us from the National League, only really thanks to a goal by Sam Graham. I want to say that's Sonny Graham, in the 92nd minute there. So Crawley, Salford, who I did suggest were going to get fifth, didn't I? They have got their places in the playoffs all arranged. Walsall only drew their last game. So Walsall drew against Mansfield, despite the home side having a player sent off there on the hour. And Grimsby, where are Grimsby on the results? They're further up. 3-2 winners over Newport County. They had a player sent off in the 64th minute. And would you believe it, Grimsby capitalised. 68 minutes, Waterfall opened the floodgates there. I apologise for that one. Whereas at the foot of the table, Exeter were actually last. Oh, 24th. They lost to Salford, who got their win. And Macclesfield must have picked up a win. They did over Morecambe. Right, okay, Jim Bentley's side in the game. He's actually resurfaced at his old club, of course. So that means Kenny McKenna's side finished bottom of the league, 24th place. Our next episode, episode 51, will actually feature the playoff results. So whether I turn up to watch the playoff final or just let you know what happened, that will be episode 51, along with a look at the League One end of season, because they've got another week to go to find out exactly who will play next season. It looks like we'll play, we won't play Barnsley because they're champions. Blackpool potentially on the way up. I wonder if we can see the fixtures. So it's between Blackburn and Wigan at the top. The last day of the season, Blackpool are away at Rochdale, who are in 8th, whereas Wigan are away at Fleetwood. Now that's an interesting one, because Fleetwood are actually still in the relegation mix. If you look down the bottom here, Wickham and Burton are gone. We'll miss those in the revolving door of League One. But Colchester, Tranmere, Scunthorpe and Fleetwood are all still in the relegation mix. Only from Lincoln above are everybody safe there. And there are some big teams in League One. Portsmouth, Ipswich, Coventry I'd class as a pretty big team. And obviously, we're going to play 3 out of, well, currently Wigan, Charlton, MK Dons and Gillingham. So they're all pretty decent sides, pretty handy. It'll be interesting certainly to see then. So who did Tranmere, Colchester and Scunthorpe play on the last day? Colchester are at home to Crewe. Scunthorpe away at Burton. Wow, that is a big one. Isn't it just? Tranmere at home to Ipswich. Oh, League One looks quite tasty. While we're here, in fact, shall we have a quick look at the Championship? I love the Championship. It's, along with the National League, I think it's the most competitive league in the football pyramid here in the UK. I wanted to see where Sunderland were, because they got promoted last season. They ended quite badly. Look at that, no wins in 5. So the 2 teams coming down so far are Luton and Hull. Hull are going to be another big one. And then it's a case of either Oxford or Middlesbrough that will join us in League One. In terms of the fixtures, Oxford play Brentford. Middlesbrough are at home to Sunderland. Wow, okay. So they're all happening on the 2nd of May. So I think episode 51 will deal with the playoff final, because then I want to have a look at transfers after that, along with pre-season, and then we get started. So those are the results for today. We were considered fortunate to beat Cheltenham. I don't think it was fortunate. I think we weren't really in much danger. But as you can see, along with Crawley, Salford, Walsall and Grimsby have all guaranteed themselves a playoff place. Tune in next time to find out which of those 4 earn promotion with us and Bolton Wanderers to League 2, from League 2 to League 1 next season. I'll see you next time.